In this podcast episode, Mel Robbins unpacks the powerful concept behind her best-selling book, The Let Them Theory. Her message centers around reclaiming personal peace and power by understanding four critical things people are not responsible for in life. Throughout the episode, Robbins provides not only profound insights, but also actionable guidance to help listeners stop assuming undue responsibilities that drain their happiness and mental well-being. Mel Robbins opens with the foundational idea that you are not responsible for other people's happiness. This misconception, she explains, is a widespread and exhausting burden many people carry unknowingly. The attempt to constantly please others or to manage their feelings often leaves you drained, anxious, and at risk of neglecting your own needs. Robbins admits her personal struggles with this, having spent decades trying to make everyone else happy, only to shrink herself smaller and feel perpetually insufficient despite her efforts. She clarifies that letting others experience disappointment or unhappiness is not selfish. Rather, it frees up energy and time to prioritize your own well-being. Robbins illustrates how the tendency to assume others' happiness as your responsibility can play out in everyday life, from avoiding sharing joyful moments on social media out of fear of triggering someone else's sadness, to repeatedly altering plans or apologizing unnecessarily, and even walking on eggshells around others' moods. She stresses that maintaining this level of control over others' emotions is a manipulation tactic rooted in fear of rejection or conflict. Her solution is to embrace honesty, set clear boundaries, and finally make decisions aligned with your own values and joy, encouraging listeners to say yes to what truly lights them up and no without guilt when necessary. Moving beyond emotional responsibility, Robbins addresses the common impulse to rescue others from their problems. Whether it's parents bailing out adult children, partners trying to fix each other's issues, or friends endlessly absorbing someone else's troubles, this pattern often causes more harm than good. Robbins draws on expert input from Harvard psychiatrists and psychologists, emphasizing that healing and change can only occur when individuals decide to take ownership of their growth and work. She highlights the difference between supporting someone and enabling them by removing all consequences and obstacles. Enabling behavior can prolong dependency, prevent accountability, and add serious stress to the helper's life, often leaving them overwhelmed, resentful, or stuck. Robbins encourages a compassionate but firm stance. Stop trying to solve others' problems and allow them to face their realities and natural consequences. This, she insists, is a form of respect and faith in their capacity to change, even if it takes time. Her approach invites listeners to reflect on what problems they might be trying to solve and whether those belong to them. Robbins also highlights the liberating truth that you cannot and should not be responsible for making people understand or agree with your choices. Using a vivid personal anecdote about a unicycle rider she saw on a rural road, she exemplifies the beauty of living unapologetically for your own happiness, regardless of others' confusion or judgment. She argues that expecting validation or comprehension from others is futile because people always perceive the world filtered through their own experiences, biases, and fears. Family and friends often struggle to understand personal changes because they interpret them through their limited viewpoints. Whether it is changing careers, embracing sobriety, or choosing unconventional lifestyles, others' misunderstanding is normal and to be expected. Robbins challenges listeners to embrace this discomfort and resist the urge to over-explain or seek approval. She urges a shift toward owning one's decisions fully without the need for external validation, enabling genuine self-expression and autonomy. Finally, Robbins addresses the pervasive anxiety around proving self-worth to others. She argues that true confidence and value come from within, not from external praise or recognition. Many individuals sabotage themselves by shrinking back, hiding their talents, or undervaluing their contributions due to fears of judgment or rejection. This internalization of other people's opinions leads to emotional instability, procrastination, and a chronic lack of self-esteem. Drawing on scholarly research, Robbins underscores that motivation driven from internal validation yields higher quality, sustained efforts, and resilience. In contrast, relying on others' approval destabilizes emotional health and diminishes performance. She encourages listeners to stop censoring themselves or altering their authenticity to impress others, and instead to focus on recognizing and honoring their own worth. Robbins shares real-life examples of how people undervalue themselves in everyday situations, be it by overextending kindness to please others, underpricing their work, or avoiding showing up fully because of fear of criticism. She offers a radical but freeing prescription: allow others the freedom to think what they will, including negative opinions, while standing firm in your own self-respect and continuing to act authentically. Through the lens of these four truths, letting others be unhappy, resisting the urge to rescue, accepting misunderstandings, and refusing to prove self-worth, Mel Robbins presents a compelling framework for reclaiming personal peace and power. This theory is less about rejecting kindness or abandoning relationships, and more about dismantling the toxic, often unconscious burdens we place on ourselves that deplete our energy and happiness. Robbins reaffirms that taking back your power involves setting boundaries where they are needed, honoring your own values unapologetically, and recognizing that you are the ultimate steward of your life's happiness. She encourages embracing honesty, compassion for oneself, and a willingness to tolerate discomfort as prerequisites for growth and fulfillment.